Hello and welcome to the Globetrottin ADs. Since 2019, a way for athletic directors, activity coordinators, coaches, and friends to connect and collaborate no matter where they are around the world. We hope that you enjoyed the podcast and share it with anyone you think will enjoy it as well. And now, let's get this episode started.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Season 6, Episode 11 of the Globetrottin ADs. We're heading into the home stretch here of our winter seasons and getting ready to wrap it up with some upcoming tournaments and travel trips and hosting. Very exciting time. And then before you know it, we'll be heading into the spring. So that's going to be a very exciting time. So how you doing over there in Vienna, Nick?
Yeah, doing good. I think the same as you, Matt. I'm excited for the end of the winter season, which means that spring is right around the corner. Our CISA conference, and then some nice weather. So, yeah, really cool.
Yeah, looking forward to CISA and being down by the seaside there, and the classes we're going to be offering, and the other PD with Nathan Whitaker will be there, and
Yeah.
Kathy Stetson's final hoorah, are the CISA executive director. So
Yeah.
it should be a good time, professionally and socially, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, and that'll probably be our next episode, right? The panel, or maybe record something else there.
Yeah. Yeah. So for those of you who don't, I was just gonna say, for those of you who don't know, if you catch this before then, the annual CISA conference this year is in Split, Croatia. Pretty cool venue. Not really a CISA location in that there's a school there, but in terms of a conference venue, it'll be pretty nice.
Yeah.
Not easy place to get to,
No.
of course. So I know like a lot of folks from our school are actually going to drive down, because from Budapest to
Cool.
Split is like a 6-7 hour drive.
Yeah.
How are you going to get down there?
Sometimes it pays to be early, Matt, but not in this case. I got my ticket a long time ago, before Austrian Airlines put their flights out, and I just didn't even think about it. So I'm flying back to Zurich and then to Split, but a lot of other colleagues of mine that are going the same day are flying direct from Vienna. So, yeah,
You couldn't change it.
couldn't change it. But it's okay. It's time alone. It's like an extra hour and a half.
Okay.
So, but yeah, feels a bit silly to fly all the way to the other side of Austria to then fly back over Austria. So,
Yeah. I'll gather your thoughts and think of something for a new episode down the road.
yeah, terrible. Well, what are we going to talk about today? Matt, we got a good one, I think. People have been asking
Yeah.
us about this for a long time.
For sure. So there's a chat group we're a part of with mostly it's a lot of folks who attend the NIAAA, and it's a nice chat group because sometimes a lot of people will post a question out there. Then, hey, what do you guys do for, let's say, for example, coach evaluations, or things you use to, where do you get equipment from? Maybe I got a suggestion for a flooring company, all kinds of basic stuff like that. And so lately, one of the things that's come across, or you'll see come across every once in a while, is like a question about, who do you use for live streaming? Is there
Yeah.
a company you can recommend, or a service, cameras that you can put up permanently in your gym or outside for your soccer fields and whatnot? And so, yeah, today we are going to have a guest coming to us from a company. His name is Ian Wray, who will be talking to us about various methods his company offers for live streaming options.
Yeah. And it's Spiideo or Spiideo, right? Matt, and we both use them. So we thought it would be good to get Ian on because we know them, and definitely not a paid content. We asked Ian to be on to give us some insights into them, but we want to talk generally about live streaming first before we welcome Ian in, and
because I think a lot more international schools are going to it, whether they're big, small. I think it's affordable,
Yeah.
right? And it's much easier if you get a permanent setup because you don't have to worry about having the tech department's camera taped to the wall or something like, something we used to do in the past if we wanted to live stream an event. So, and the options that are available now are quite good
Yeah.
in terms of information and setup. So I'm looking forward to hearing what, I haven't talked to them in a while, of course, because we were a customer and our school was, but I'm looking forward to see, hey, maybe there's something new or something
Right.
different out
Yeah, exactly.
there. Upgrade.
Yeah, it's funny, the live streaming changed so much. We live streamed. We had a passionate teacher who ran a club, and he had multiple cameras, and he would live stream any event we had, and with different angles. He had kids working as announcers, and we did interviews, and it was just wires all over the place. But it was amazing. But it was really time consuming, and the teacher doesn't do it anymore. He's still at our school. But it's just become so easy now. Like, I think we had a better product back then because we had all these different angles. We had funny kid announcers, and we had interviews and stuff, but only for the tournaments. To now, we have every game in our gym with 5 minutes worth of work on the front end are streaming, and it's being recorded. So, it's just so easy now, so easy.
Yeah. I mean, for us, and I think for you, are you doing the setup yourself?
Yep, in our office, Kevin or I, just a couple minutes on the computer to set the games up. Yeah.
Yeah. As the way we have it, one of our tech folks sets it up for me.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it. I just send them the schedule of games and what time we're going to start, what's happening on court 1, what's happening on court 2.
Yeah.
And then he sends links and off they go.
Yeah, that's one thing from Spiideo to, we had Huddle before, and the one difference from Huddle to Spiideo is Huddle was just a bit easier to set up. It was an app, and it was like lightning fast, 1 minute, not even 1 minute. And Spiideo is a bit more taxing. You have to log into Spiideo and do it there, and then we stream on YouTube, and then you have to do it on YouTube. But we're talking about from 1 minute to 5 minutes. Max 5 minutes, 4. I don't know. So it's still not that bad, but it's you have to do it. That's one thing.
Yep.
I mean, streaming is cool. I think it's the kids can watch it, but we found it's really important, and I think it's really important for the families at the school, right? I mean, we were streaming before you, Matt. You've got your indoor cameras last year. What's your
Yeah, so at the beginning of last year.
Yeah. So you've had them for a full year and a bit. What do you find? What's your community saying, or what do they think about them? Are they in love that they can watch every game in the gym?
I think it's a really nice enhancement in that, like for example, last year we hosted the Skis Varsity Girls Basketball Tournament, and my daughter was a senior on the team last year, so it was really cool for me to be able to send back home to my family, say, hey, Molly's going to be playing in the tournament. Here's the schedule. Reminder, we're 6 hours ahead of you guys, but
yeah,
if you can catch a game, here's when she's playing. So it was pretty cool. They enjoyed it. So her grandma and her uncles her aunt and uncle, cousins got to watch a little bit of her.
I mean, that's super cool, right? The grandparents, the parents overseas were international. Yeah. I've had, it was last year during a weekday game, and a mom said to me, she's like, "Oh, this is great that the live stream." She's like, "Yeah," her husband was watching at the same time, and they were WhatsApping over it. I'm like, "Oh, he's not here right now?" He's like, "No, he's in Iraq." We're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, he's stationed in Iraq, but he can watch the games." So not just grandparents, but and the dad was loving it, right?
That keeps the parents connected.
Yeah.
If that's a great scenario right there, because dad's working abroad and you want to stay in touch and be able to watch your kid. You want to be able to support your kid. So this is the next best thing, right?
Right. And I think that was when the school was hesitant to make the financial commitment for us now a while ago. Well, last year we just got an outdoor camera. So we had to get a new camera last year. But that's the thing, it's a lot of money. But it really, the impact is it's just huge, right? And what you can offer your families, you can sell that to them, especially if the school down the street doesn't stream any games. That's a selling point too, right? You can watch your kid play from anywhere. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
another nice thing too, because you can have a recording of a game. So like if you want to do a video review and break down with your kids, your team, like example, actually one of our coaches did that today. They watched a game from a couple weeks ago, actually, just you say, here's what we did some good things, and here's some things we could improve on. Here's what we did. So we played a club team, which was pretty good. And then she said afterwards, I talked to her about it. She said, actually, we didn't do as bad as we thought we did.
yeah, you could see it. Yeah.
Club team was a pretty strong team, higher level than us, but we held our own apparently, and
Yeah.
show.
I think it's funny. The funny thing, which I didn't realize till last year, is that when more schools have streaming and they have their games on there, then you can scout the other schools that you're going to play at in the tournament.
Yeah.
Right. So in our final conference, we almost play nobody in the season, maybe one or two schools. But now we can watch. We can watch Brussels against The Hague, middle school girls, which I watched the other day. For two schools that my daughter's going to play against next week. So you can scout. So I think schools generally in our conference are just leaving the games up online, so anyone, like you said, can go back and watch it after. But maybe that's the next step. Live stream it, but then make it a private video.
Yeah.
So people can't watch it after unless you share them the link, and then the coaches could still get the link. But
I think that's because you guys use YouTube, so it goes to your. Yeah, and for some reason, we do not. We don't have a YouTube channel, and I can't remember the specifics. I'd have to ask our tech guy, but I remember asking about it because, well, that's a piece of cake. You just set it up through YouTube.
Right.
I can't remember what the hang-up was, but I know we did it.
Well, that's another good bonus with these cameras. No matter what company you use, right? You send the feed to whatever streaming platform you want to use, right? So Spiideo doesn't stream it themselves, or Huddle didn't stream it themselves. We had that feed and sent it somewhere. So the schools that really want to get and do more things, they can use this one camera as their main angle, send that feed somewhere, and hook up other cameras. So if I had some more kids or wanted to do the interviews or whatever, I could get a streaming software that allows multiple cameras, and we could do it all. So right now you and I think are doing the lazy stream. You got the camera that follows the action and you just turn it on basically, right?
Yeah. If you remember.
Yeah, if you remember. Yeah.
I actually forgot because I'm like, oh yeah, we should have. And I had a parent that actually sent me an email saying, "Can you send me the live stream link?"
Yeah. Nope. We forgot one game this year, and it was the first game this one team had, and the coach had planned and wanted to use the next practice to look at the tape, and then realized it wasn't there. Another good one was for us. The ups and downs of live streaming is we have the gym dividers in our gym, and if you pull them to the one side of the gym, they're in front of the camera. And a PE teacher pulled it to one side of the gym, not knowing anything about the cameras. And then the coaches that were at that game didn't think to move it. So it streamed the divider for the whole game. So that was a good one. Yeah.
And yours come with microphones too, right?
Yeah. The mics are like so they pick up the crowd noise. So that was another good one. For the soccer, I put up signs all around where the camera was, saying like, if you sit in this area, your voices will be recorded on the camera. Because that's an issue too. In basketball, I don't know why. Maybe because the ball's so loud. In the gym, you can just hear noise, but you can't really make out the conversations of the people in the crowd. But the soccer was like clear as day, of everybody sitting in one big section in front of the camera. So, yeah.
So something for us too, like with the in terms of a hang up, like one of the things we have to fix is the location of our scoreboard, because the camera, one of the cameras does, you can set it up so one of the cameras directly use your scoreboard.
Right.
So it'll up with the action of the game, and then it'll have a transpose it to your screen, which is really cool. But we're not set up for that at the moment because the camera is on the same wall as.
Because that's a really big bonus that you don't have to do anything in the scores there, right? Like we don't have that for soccer, the way where the camera is and outside the way it moves, it wouldn't work apparently. But yeah, for basketball with the scoreboard is always there. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so the solution for that is we have to have, like, for example, mostly when we have a big tournament, it's hard for the weekday games because you have to have somebody there manually entering the scores and keeping the time. But if you can't find a dedicated person for that, you just show the game as it is.
Right.
For tournaments, we always have dedicated scorekeepers, so we have kids from our athletic council.
They can just, they're there with it, right?
Yeah.
But are they stopping and starting the time too, or are they just doing the score?
I think they're doing the time too.
Yeah. I think something that just happened, like live right now from the gym. I just got home from school. My one daughter played, and there's another game. And one of the beauties is always being able to watch the kids, even if you're not there, right? So I usually always turn in when there's a game. And it looks like our stream just ended in the middle of the fourth quarter. So that's, because you set the time up before when it should start and when it should stop, right? And if you're not paying attention, like most of us, I think maybe there was a big delay. Hopefully no one got hurt, but maybe the game started late for some reason and the time ran out. So now the stream cuts off, right? So that's one of the downs things is it's another thing to worry about at the tournaments if you have to do it yourself. People calling in, you get the emails from parents of kids at other schools. Why isn't the live stream working? I want to watch my kid, and you're, running around the gym with 100 things to do. And
yeah, but I think I would just say overall, it's been a great enhancement. We've been pretty pleased with the system so far, and don't see it going away.
How's your soccer? So indoor, it's basketball season now. We're kind of been talking on indoor, where it's on the gym wall. But we have, and I think we both have the same cameras outside, right? Where we
don't have it outside yet, so that's something we're going to try to look into for the following year. Right. Part of the reason too for us is because our campus, once you get outside, it's pretty spread out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you need a stable connection way out there, right?
Yeah. So the Wi-Fi can be a little spotty outside. If you're not careful. So actually, that's something I would need to look into and maybe check in with this company and what they can do. You guys.
Well, we have a cable, so we have a network cable because there's a kind of a hut near a classroom that's in a hut that's outside, and we ran about a 20-meter network cable to the camera last year and plugged it in. So it then had a stable connection, and then over the summer we dug it underground. So we laid the cable and made a platform. So there's like by the platform at midfield, there's a plug for the network and there's a power plug. So it's pretty easy. But we can't.
Is it permanently mounted though?
The camera isn't, because that's another thing. You need to mount it high enough on a pole that's strong enough. But it could stay out there all year round if you had that capability. But the way the trees were and the bleachers, we couldn't mount a 5-meter high pole. So I bought a tripod, a really sturdy tripod. And it also only takes maybe 5 minutes to set up. So I put the tripod up, put the camera on the tripod, crank the tripod up, and then it stays up there.
And how far back from the field is it?
3 meters, 4 meters.
That's it.
Just at the top of our bleachers. So yeah, that's the one thing. When we got a huddle camera way back, we couldn't put a camera in our lower gym because they said the gym walls were too close and their camera didn't have the capabilities to to do that. And then with Spiideo, he's like, oh, we can do that, no problem. Our camera, that's 10 years later, and the parameters, technology changed, right? So they can do some pretty cool things, which is one good question for Ian later. What's coming next, maybe, because technology is changing so fast.
Yeah. That's interesting because the other thing I think about, like to put one on the outdoor field, we'd have to figure out like where would it go on that main field because we have a track right next to it. So
yeah,
well,
you could mount it on the scoreboard of the track, then you could stream the track and everything. Maybe I don't, who knows, right? That'd be cool. Live stream track meet.
More options.
Yeah, that we talked about some great things, obviously, with the kids, the coaches. Our varsity boys are making stat clip videos of themselves. They're downloading the footage and putting things together and making videos. It's good for that. Obviously, there's some frustrating things about it too, but I think it's getting to the point where if you're an international school of, I don't know, our size, 800-ish, you almost need to do it, right? You feel that?
Yeah, I think it's it's expectation as to why not? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Especially if it's as easy as it is nowadays. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's other options too, right? Like where you are in the world. We mentioned Huddle and Spiideo, but we know people are using Pixelot and VO and Connexon and some other things. So there's definitely options in there of
right.
What's close to you, what company maybe can ship to you easier or.
Yeah, so that's a great question. Like, so if, everybody's out there and you hear this podcast and you have something to offer too.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah, what you're using. Yeah, I don't know, any downside to, Ian's not on yet. Any downside for you for Spiideo so far, or?
No, so far I've been very happy with it, and the tech people are happy with it. They enjoy working with it. I think it's something cool for them. And
yeah.
Our tech director really likes it. He was the one who, I had to work with to get it in, and luckily it came out of his budget. So
yeah.
He was happy to supply it because he knows it was an enhancement for the school. So
that's what ours came out of too. Like our subscription is coming out of the tech budget. That's good.
So now the next phase for us, I mentioned about our scoreboard situation, and we actually need to get new scoreboards because the ones we have now are getting older and they're starting to not function sometimes. So step now will be to get a new scoreboard, maybe a video board, something cool like that, where we can actually put in the proper position. So he's on it with me.
You guys got a great video board out on your track, something like that in the gyms, right? Yeah, that'd be cool.
Let's see. Funny thing, actually, tonight at the basketball game, I mentioned this to the guy who was, we hire out our scorekeepers. They with the referees, and the guy who's actually working the old board, he knows like tonight the shot clock was malfunctioning. It wasn't played, but it wasn't running right. So come to find out, this guy, his company is scoreboards.
Oh yeah.
Like,
so you're like, get me an offer. Get me an offer.
Yeah, I was like, hey, great. So can you send me an email with some links and some, some of your stuff? What do you got? So he's like, yeah, right away. He's on it. So that was good because he knows our situation and he's already there. So we'll see what comes out of that. They give us a good deal, maybe.
Have you? I think you haven't yet, but one cool thing about Spiideo is it's more about the streaming and broadcasting live, right? So you can log in from any computer anywhere and control the on-screen scoreboard, but also do commentary. Have you tried? Did you know that? Have you tried that out yet?
Yeah, but we haven't gotten that far yet because I know you can basically plug because all you need is a laptop to do with the scoreboard, right? When the scoreboard's manually entered,
right,
and then you can voice along with it.
I think like basketball is tough with the starting and stopping of the clock. Obviously, but for soccer, it's not that bad. You start at the beginning and do the score. But yeah, no, we haven't done it either. But that's something. It's good that can be the extension. If we have some passionate kids that really want to do it, or whatever, we can log in from anywhere. I think it'd be pretty cool. Where Huddle didn't have that capability, right? Huddle was all about the streaming and then the stats service after. So you could get like really detailed stats, but that was something we didn't really want or care about. Or there's always coaches that wanted it. Like we had one basketball coach I thought really wanted it, and he was really keen. And then when it gets down to it, he used it for a few things only for the whole year, and not 1,000 or a couple thousand euros worth. Yeah. But
okay.
Well, we'll take a break. We'll listen to our real sponsor, Cookery, before we get another company on here in Spiideo, and then we'll come back with Ian.
Yeah, we'll talk about our little bet. Well, maybe before we go to the break, we'll just when Ian joins us.
Right.
So I have a little bet we were talking on before we got on the show. What's the actual proper pronunciation of this company? Is it Spiideo or Spiideo? Because it's spelled Spiieo.
Spiiideo. Spiideo.
Spiideo or Spiideo?
On the line is
Nick,
a round of drinks.
Yeah, and you're saying what?
I'm saying Spiideo.
Nick says Spiideo. I'm saying Spiideo.
Yeah.
More like, Italian sound.
I think the way you say it sounds nicer, but I think the way I say it is correct. We'll see.
We'll see. So Ian will have the final word.
Yeah.
And the loser has to buy a round of drinks when we get to the CISA conference and split. So we'll give you the update of what the result is of this little bet.
Cookery Sports is a clothing brand that specializes in providing the world's most prestigious schools with bespoke made and designed team uniforms. If you're frustrated by inconsistent colors, branding, cost, and sizing across your teams, then it's time to email someone at Cookery Sports today. When you email contact@cookerysports.com, tell them about the Globetrottin ADs, and you'll receive a special offer on your coach or PE staff order.
All right, everybody, welcome back, and we're happy to welcome our guest, Ian Wray, who's going to give us some information about the Spiideo company and what they can offer for the live streaming options we've kind of discussed and talked about a little bit already. So welcome, Ian, and maybe Ian, you want to give us a little bit of a background about yourself and how you become involved with the company.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for the intro, Matt, and thanks for inviting me on here to speak today, and thanks as well, Nick, for including Spiideo on this call. So yeah, I mean, I've been
Ian. So hold on, you just mentioned the name of the company. Can we interrupt, because Matt and I had a little bet before you got on about the name. Can you just say that again?
Okay, I purposely said it very, very fast.
You did.
Maybe I should say it in slow motion. So yeah, the company's pronounced Spiideo. So, but we have lots of people call it. I mean, I call it Spiideo. Some people call it Spiideo. Others, I've even heard it called Spiideo. But yeah, it can be whatever you want. So I don't know what the bet is, but
well, who's closer? I think I'm closer. I said Spiideo, so that's pretty close. But I don't think it's exactly what you said, right?
I go with the flow, whatever. I mean, we call ourselves Spiideo. It's with a double I, so that's a bit of a quirkiness to it. And in case people are wondering where it comes from, it's basically the combination, the amalgamation of the two words sports and video. So sport video or Spiideo.
Spiideo. Okay, Matt. I think that's even.
I think it's tough.
So I don't know who. I'll leave you guys to battle it out between you. Who
that sounds fair. Sounds fair. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Thanks for not really No, sorry.
So no, Matt. Yeah, so I've been with Spiideo for just over a couple of years now. But I've been in the sports industry, the sports media industry, the sports performance industry for maybe 15 years now. So I've touched many of the different touch points within the sports ecosystem. And yeah, I first came across Spiideo maybe when was it? Maybe 8 or 9 years ago, when they were a very small company in sort of some of the early days. But yeah, I joined them a couple of years ago, and now the company has grown to, I think we're approaching something in the region of 120 full-time staff, largely spread across here in Europe, but also a very big footprint in North America. So across East and West Coast, Central States as well. So yeah, so we've been growing quite a lot, and it looks set to continue as well. We're having quite a lot of success in all over the world at the moment. So yeah, so I've it's been a good company to have joined. We're I'm personally, as you can probably tell, I'm from the UK originally, but I've been living in Denmark for the past 20 years, and conveniently for me, Spiideo is just across the water from Copenhagen in southern Sweden, in Malmo, where it's where it was founded and is still headquartered to this day.
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. So do you have to commute across the water to work, or you stay at home in Denmark?
Yeah, I tend to go in once or twice a week, so it's quite a nice commute. It's actually across. There's quite a famous bridge that was made famous from a Netflix series called The Bridge.
Correct.
Where I think there was a joint investigation into a murder that happened midway across the bridge that involved both Danish and Swedish police. But up until now, I haven't seen any murders on the train. But been fairly uneventful.
That's cool. Well, that's interesting. I mean, that was one of the things I really liked was when we spoke that things were coming from Europe. And we had someone in Europe, on this time zone. But I know you have cameras, all over Asia, and now with places in the U.S. That's pretty broad. That's great.
Yeah, we're slowly becoming more and more global. I'd say we have, our biggest footprint, of course, is here in Europe, where we've been around the most time, but. North America, both the US, Canada, and Mexico are really starting to ramp up now. I mean, we've had a lot of success. Maybe relevant to this conversation, we've had a lot of success with NCAA colleges across the US, as well as professional football as well. MLS as well as a client of ours. So we're in.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a big footprint across leagues, federations, clubs, schools, colleges, media production companies, media rights holders. So yeah, the full spectrum, the full gamut of companies involved and organizations involved in the sports space.
Cool. Wow. So we're the little fish. So when I get the tech support gentleman or it's been gentlemen so far, write me very quickly back, then I should feel even more impressed of the service, even to us little guys. So that's great.
Oh, well, it's in fact, that's something that we do get a lot of good feedback on is customer support, because I think I mean you find it in life in general is that once you're a customer, it's all about the experience that you have with the product, and if you're left high and dry, then you're not going to get a positive experience out of it. So that's why we take customer support very seriously. But obviously, as we grow, it's a challenge to make sure that you can still give that good level of support and scale with the amount of business that you're taking on as a company. So I mean, we do, as we do employ bits and pieces of AI here and there in our product, but we're also trying to deploy it in a way to be even in our customer service as well, at least just to narrow down self-service. So if there's certain things which are easy to solve for a client, then we give them the tools to be able to do that through AI bots. And if you can't get anywhere with the automated sort of online support, then of course you get through to a real human being, which is important.
Yeah, that's great. So Ian, in addition to, the customer service, for us, as we're in schools, so we're educators. What is it that you like that your company can do for schools in particular?
I mean, what what we what we've tried to do as a company, I think from day one, is to provide a product that enables all of our clients, but particularly schools and particularly small clubs, basically organizations where there aren't big bucks floating around in terms of budgets, but you've got big aspirations still. You still want to be able to uh, record video and create professional output on video, and you want to be able to deliver it to your audiences. In your case, it may well be parents and the students themselves, but still, everyone has sort of a certain level of expectation of quality to make it viewable and making it enjoyable. So what we try to do is create a product that enables our clients to be able to produce content that is good quality, but most importantly can be done very easily and also very cost effectively, so that you don't need to throw lots of people, you don't need to throw lots of dollars at the challenge to get a good result. And I think I think that's one of the major things that we try to do is make this kind of technology accessible, and equally to make it as simple as possible. And that's not just sort of the software interfacing, but also, as you know, the actual on-venue footprint as well, making sure that the cameras are easy to install, that there's not a lot of wiring requirements, that you don't need servers, that I think the beauty is because we're cloud-based, it reduces the complexity of what you need to do on venue. And we use technology as well, which is very robust and is designed to be used in any environment. So, you don't get left with a whole bunch of hardware support issues that you can often have when the server's involved, or where there's cameras which are maybe not quite as robustly built. So I think what I like about our product in general is that it's designed to be easy to install, easy to use, and easy on the financials as well. But still be able to create great content that is the whole aim of the game. And I'd say one last point as well, I think, is that it can be used for multiple different purposes. So if you have aspirations to use the video content for training purposes, to help the student athletes to better improve their gameplay, whether that's as a team or as individuals, or if you're using it for engaging with fans, or to help keep parents updated with how their kids are doing in competitions, or for the kids themselves to share the content and have a look at what they've been up to.
Right.
We know how young kids are so enthralled by video these days anyway in general. So I think it's great that we have a platform, because we're cloud-based, that you can use for multiple different purposes, without any great efforts.
Yeah, great. That's great. That's a lot of things, and Matt and I, before you got on, talked about all live streaming in general, and how great it is for our international school communities, right? Can do all those different things, and please kind of everybody. So, but I'm trying to think of a couple. I've had experience with Huddle before, but what do you think is maybe one or two features that kind of sets you guys above some of those other companies that are out there? What's something great? What's something different maybe?
Yeah, I'd say some of the main things that make us different is the fact that we've tried wherever we can to make I mentioned before about ease of use. We try to make our platform as easy to use as possible, in terms of the setup, in terms of the recording of video, the interacting with video. And I'd say the other big thing is, as I've already mentioned, the fact that you can use the platform for different purposes. If you want to use it for live streaming, then you've got a fully featured platform that you can use to do high quality productions. but you can also use it for training purposes. And I'd say one of the things that we're really starting to do now is, as soon as you start to get into the realms of entertainment, producing video for entertainment, then you get a whole raft of different requirements, that need commentary, you need different types of graphics, for different sports. You need to have different, you need to have things like instant replay. You need to have different angles, if you want to have different cameras around the field. And each sport requires, a different type of storytelling. And I'd say we're really good at pulling together all of the components to be able to replicate the kind of productions that you see on higher tier, productions that, I don't know, NBC or ESPN would typically cover, but doing it, at a much lower budget and as automated as possible. So we're all about trying to automate the whole production process. So try and cut out as many people in the loop as possible, because, to a degree, people cost money to send to various places around the world. But equally, people tend to be a little inconsistent in their approach. So by automating the movement of cameras to follow the action, because as you know, we're not actually physically moving the cameras. The cameras are virtually moving within a panorama. So it's quite clever. So it's replicating that. So I'd say one of the big things I think are very, very good at, we have a lot of positive feedback from our clients, is that we can replicate the movement of a physical camera very, very closely. So it looks like, one of these big, heavy Sony cameras or Panasonic cameras that you typically see in broadcast. So it doesn't look robotic. It looks like there's a human controlling the camera. So I'd say that's one of the beauties of what we have, and the fact that we're multi-sport. So we have AI algorithms that have been designed specifically for soccer, for basketball, for handball, for hockey. A whole bunch of different algorithms that are constantly improving. And because we're all cloud-based, it means that as we improve, say, the hockey algorithm, then not only NHL teams get that improvement, but you get it as well as a school. So it's very scalable. And I'd say I'd say the fact that we're cloud-based and the fact that we can adapt and evolve and improve the solution very, very quickly and globally is I think a big benefit for our platform.
Awesome.
Yeah. So within this, you mentioned quite a few things it's able to do, and what some improvements have been made along the way. So what do you see as the next big technological advance in this industry?
The big thing we're working on at the moment is, as we are sort of endeavoring to, you can see the sports industry is commonly seen as a pyramid structure, where you have, the top tier, the top tier leagues and federations and the competitions right at the very top of the pyramid. So, it could be, the NFL, with the AFL underneath it and so on and so forth, or the Premier League, and then the football, and then the championship, et cetera, in a pyramid structure. We typically are playing in the mid tiers. So we're not going to replace a big broadcaster who's sending, 35 cameras to a stadium to film a game. But what we're starting to do is, these productions often require specialist cameras. A camera that's zoomed in on a player to watch their celebration. Close up, optical zoom, or zooming in on the crowd, or zooming in on players on the bench, etc. So that's sort of a whole new level of storytelling, and that's something that automated production doesn't give you at the moment, because it's limited by the fixed cameras that you have on a venue. So where we're seeing a lot of evolution now is in the ability to bring in external cameras. So not only have the fixed cameras that are there, but if there is a camera operator that goes to venue and is maybe there to do interviews or to do close-up shots of particular players during a game, then we can take in that video into our platform and mix and match automated and manual production. And we're calling that hybrid productions. So I'd say that's sort of one sort of big area that we're working on. And maybe the second area is in highlights. So, you know, I think in terms, especially in sort of entertainment, you know, I guess Gen Z and I think it's Gen Alpha, I think is the latest generation, isn't it? After Gen Z. Yeah. So they're, you know, they consume, they're not going to sit through 90 minutes of a soccer game, or, you know, they haven't got the patience for it. It's all about quick, bite-sized chunks of entertainment, you know, which they're used to getting on TikTok and Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. So there's actually a very big market for the creation of all the highlights, all the fun stuff, all the important stuff that's happened in a sports game. And so this is our biggest effort for this year, is to really develop out our highlights generation capability. We already have highlights generation capability, but it's through manual tagging. So you need to have someone there that's sort of tagging a goal's just been scored, or there was a foul or a penalty, or something interesting. What we're doing, the next evolution, is to be able to automatically recognize that through AI, through lots of different sort of techniques, but to then take them, rank them, and package them and reformat them for different endpoints, and to deliver them during the game itself, so that you can, you know, on your digital device, you can get a vertical format video, you know, with all the bumpers and all the graphics on it, that sort of is telling a story. Sort of like, what a goal, and it's, you know, it's a goal that's been, or what a goal scored by a particular player. Yeah. And to be able to have that delivered during the game itself as maybe a notification. So we're putting a lot of effort into that, and so that's, I think, that's going to be a game changer, because this content is in some respects even more valuable now than the live streams are.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I see that for our families. Like,
sure.
You know,
I'm just saying, like, if you had a video club in your school, right? And this would be ready-made for them. It sounds like that they can.
Correct. Yeah.
Just run with it.
Yeah, and even like I'll pick my daughter's team, middle school girls A basketball. I've seen every game this year, but sometimes I wish I just would have had a few-minute highlight reel instead of the whole game.
Yes. Yeah, and you didn't know exactly the time code of when she scored that amazing goal, and you had to look through the whole thing. Yeah,
exactly.
So
I think in my own experience, like I'm from the U.S., so I like to keep up to date with what's happening back home. But because of the time difference, it's rare that I can actually watch a live game. So I really enjoy watching a condensed game on YouTube, because I can watch a whole basketball game, for an NBA game, in like 10 minutes. Yeah, which is not great if you like to watch the whole game and see how it unfolds. But you know, if that's something the new technology could work towards, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Well, Matt and I obviously are using your cameras, and people that listen know that. Where are some other schools around the world that we might know? Any other big international schools that have your cameras installed?
Yeah. Well, international schools, I'd say maybe similar to yourselves, just down the road. Yeah. In European terms, would be in Budapest. Yeah. The American International School there. In terms of other international schools, I think we've got an international school in Bangkok as well that's using our cameras. And then over and above that, as I mentioned earlier on, you know, we do have other international schools that are using our technology, and we have a lot of, you know, as I guess you've got a big American audience here. Maybe you know, we've got we're installed in some of the biggest conferences in the NCAA. So I guess UCLA, Big Ten. SEC, was it Southeastern Conference, some IMG in Florida, the IMG Academy, Brunel College, Notre Dame, Mountain West, so some big ones. So Ohio State University, I think, is another one.
Bangkok, Chris Mott, he's the one that actually put I think both of us, right, Matt, onto your company after for me at least, sharing frustrations I had with my previous company. So that was a good hookup, and that was one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on. Just, you know, definitely not a paid paid content here, listeners. We mentioned before. We just wanted to share some good resources and something that we use. So.
Yep.
Oh, great! And I'm glad it's been going well for you guys, and that you're getting good usage out of it and putting it through its paces. So, when we're always welcome to, not all the we're not a we're not a monopoly on good ideas to how to develop the product. So please, by all means, if you have some wacky ideas, or if you've got some good input on how you'd like to see it evolve, we most of the innovation takes place out with our customer base.
Cool.
Well, like we said earlier too, like one of the reasons we thought to get in touch with you to have this podcast, because we're in a couple of different excuse me chat groups through WhatsApp, and this is one of the questions that comes across every once in a while. I was like, hey, anybody know a company that'll supply for live streaming services or cameras? So we're happy to, of course, pass this on. But if folks do want to get in touch, Ian, what would they do?
Well, the easiest thing is really to go to our website as always, and I think there will be a contact sales page on there with there's a lot of different people, and then they will at least be directed to the right person in the organization.
Yeah.
So that's www.spiideo.com, and Spiideo is spelled SPIIDEO.com. And if people want to reach out to me directly, then more than welcome. I don't know if you'll put my email address on this, but more than happy to field some direct inquiries and pass them on to the appropriate person internally.
Super. Yeah, I will put your email in the show notes and send that out. And Matt, I just want to reiterate, I think the way Ian said the company name sounded a lot closer to the way I think it sounds. than you, and I think you agree. Huh?
Well, yeah, but he gave us the option.
You're right.
So
right.
It's a lot.
Well, either way, if either of you feel aggrieved as to the way that I pronounce it, then as I'm based in Denmark, and Denmark's famous for Carlsberg beer, then maybe when we do meet up, then I owe you both a Carlsberg beer.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds perfect, and a great way to end. Ian, thanks for jumping on with us for the, giving us all the info about the company and yourself, and we hope some people get in touch with you.
For sure.
No problem at all, Nick. Thanks both to yourself and Matt for inviting me on, and I'm wishing you a lot of success in your continued usage of it. And by all means, reach out if you've got any ideas as to how we can improve it further.
Yeah, for sure. Look forward to that new technology. Sounds pretty amazing. Okay. Thanks a lot, Ian, and thanks everybody for joining us this time, and we'll catch you next time around with the Globetrottin ADs.
This has been another episode of the Globetrottin ADs. We hoped you enjoyed it. And until the next episode drops, head over to globetrottinads.com or visit us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.